All right, V5 coding with Mr. T. Hey, today we're going to look at loops and if statements, just some real basics of it, not too much to overwhelm you. Just a few little things that I want to show you and teach you about these things. So what I've done so far is I just pulled up an old program that we worked on before, and we're going to modify it. And I went ahead and took the liberty of go ahead and filling up our devices with most of these sensors that you guys would see in my lab, and you guys around the nation, depending on what you have access to, you might not see maybe a potentiometer, or you might not see a line tracker, but majority of the time you will see a bump switch and a limit switch. And again, I have the old school version and the new version as well, and I do run a different LED than the VEX LEDs. All right, so what we're going to look at right quick is we're going to just talk about loops. So a loop is a really handy thing if you want something to repeat the commands over and over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just an example of how beneficial it can be. So here's what we got going on right here. We have our 3-second wait at the beginning. I'm going to put in a wait until the old school bumpy is pressed. We need to make sure that we identify right there, old school bumpy. I modified the name, and it did not change over here, so if I would have hit download, it would have given me an error. Alright, so I'm going to say lefty will turn. Actually, I need to go ahead and have my wait sandwich right here, the 0.1. Let's add that in there. We're going to go ahead and set the velocity. Actually, we're going to throw that in right here. Okay, so there we go. Wait until the bumpy is pressed, and then after it is pressed, it is going to spin the lefty for a certain amount of time. Here we go. Boom, 1.5 seconds, and then lefty will stop. Boom. Okay, this is our program. Let's watch how it runs. I'm going to go ahead and download it, and then we can actually watch it run, and we can see what it looks like. All right, so here we go. So we will actually hit right here. Boom. And then we have the 3-second wait. Nothing will happen or occur during that amount of time. And then when we hit this, boom, runs for 1.5, and it's done. However, we press it again. Nothing happens. This is where loops come in. So let's go ahead and look what a loop is on this. So if I want this to work over and over and over and over and over, I can actually add a code, which is over here. It says forever. If I want to loop forever and ever, amen. Here we go. We're going to drop that puppy right there, and we are going to put all of this code inside that forever. So what happens is, once it gets to this forever code, it will go down the code, and then it will loop back to the top again, forever and ever and ever, amen. If you want to do it for a set amount of time, you have your repeat over here, and you can also have a repeat until something happens, and then obviously it will go on to the next set of code if you had anything under this set. That's why it actually has a little extrusion right there, or protrusion, or what have you. Okay, so let's see what happens here. We have now looped this forever. So inside the forever, if it's pressed, it will wait, it'll run, and then it will loop back and check it again. So every time it comes to here, it will check and wait. So let's go ahead and download for that guy right there. Then we're going to take a look at it, and we're going to hit run. Now let's watch what happens. We have our 3-second wait. Let us get a hold of everything. We hit it. Boom. It goes. Let's see what happens. Oh, there it goes again. I can do this forever until the battery dies. So there you go. That's looping. Okay? So we have that under our belt. Let's take it a little bit farther, okay? Let's go to if statements. And this is super important when you deal with loops, because if you run an if statement, you can run your entire set of code and not even know your code ran, even though on your brain it says the timer's still going, like it's still running. Your code's already done if you do not loop using an if statement. So check this out. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to take out the forever. And we're going to take out the loop. And we're just going to do an if statement. So what we're going to say is this. We're going to go through here, and we are going to put the old school bumpy in there. So if the bumpy is pressed, so it's a cause and effect. If it's pressed, then we're going to go ahead and drop this guy in there, and we don't really necessarily need the point 0.1 wait sandwich in there. So if it is pressed, then boom, this will spin for 1.5 seconds. So let's watch this guy go. Let's see what happens. We hit download. Now we're going to hit run. Boom. Program hasn't started yet. Okay, now it started. Now I'm going to hit it. And they're like, it won't work, Mr. T. It won't work. Actually, it already did. It already ran. The entire code is done. Because as soon as the 3 seconds went up, it went boop and checked it. If it was not pressed, nothing happened. But if it was pressed, this happened. It ran. Let me prove it to you. Watch this. So we're going to restart this program. Let's go. I'm going to stop it. Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and have it pressed, waiting for the 3 seconds to be up. Look at that. As soon as it hit 3, it checked it. So that tells you the code actually ran. You notice I didn't change anything. So that is the proof that if you use an if statement and do not loop it, it will immediately check in and will never recheck. So how do we fix that? We throw it in a forever. So check it out real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this if out of the way. I'm going to grab me a forever, my loop, and I'm going to put the if inside there. Now let's see what happens. So what happens is ever since it checks it, and it will recheck it and recheck it and recheck it forever. So we're going to download that, and then we're going to take a look at it, and I'm going to hit run. Now watch this. 1, 2, 3. And I promise at any time I can hit this guy, and it's going to go. It's going to just check it over and over and over as many times as it wants forever. So that is how utilizing a loop or a forever loop can truly help you out with your program. Now the last thing we're going to look at is an if-else statement. Okay, we have an if statement here, but then there's a statement called if-else. So it's kind of like if something happens, then you do this. But if that thing does not happen, we want it to do something different. So here we go. So we're going to throw this guy in here, and I'm going to steal the old school bumpy out of there. And then I am going to say if it's pressed, then we will have the spin. All right, good. We got that going. Now, it would run for 1.5 seconds and stop. So I just want you to check this out real quick. We don't have an else in there. So we're going to look at it, and we're going to see what happens. So if it's pressed, oh, not 3. There we go. There it'll go. And then it will check it again over and over, just like the if then. However, what do I want to happen if it's not pressed? I could have something completely different happening. So if it's not pressed, watch this. I'm going to spin righty. Watch this guy. Okay, I'm going to pull righty into the screen down here, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to download that. So if it is pressed, then lefty will spin. If it is not pressed, righty will spin. Watch this. Here we go. 3-second wait. All right, here we go. See, it's checking it. See the hesitation? It's checking it over and over. But this is pressed. Watch. So this guy is actually in charge now, but if it's not pressed, else runs. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and stop this program before they take each other out, and we're going to look at something else that that would be kind of nifty to know about this. So I can actually take all this out. So watch this. So I'm going to take out the wait and the stop out of both these guys. You're like, well, why can't we just say when it's pressed, the left one runs, and then when it's not pressed, the right one runs? Let's watch what happens, because this is exactly what you were thinking on this. Left, if it's pressed, left runs. If it's not pressed, right runs. All right, so let's see what happens. Here we go. So, not pressed. There we go. Pressed. Uh-oh. They're both running and nothing's turning off. What's going on? All right, here's something you have to take into account. You have basically what you just put in your code is literally, you said this guy will turn on, and if it's not pressed, this guy turns on. Well, we turned them both on but we never said that any of them have to be turned off. So once you turn them on, they stay on. And you're like, wait, I don't understand. All right, think about this. When when the old school bumpy is pressed, the left guy spins. But when it's not pressed, so when I let go of it, the right one spins. Did we ever say for the left to stop? No, and it does exactly what you're supposed to do. So, and by the way, I totally forgot to go ahead and set that puppy up there. Okay, now, if you want one to spin and the other one not to spin, then you need to put stops in. So check this out. I'm going to tell righty to stop if lefty is spinning, and I'm going to tell lefty to stop if righty is spinning. So that means anytime it's not pressed, lefty is stopped and righty is going, and if it is pressed, lefty is going and righty is stopped. Just trust me. Watch this. This is how it's going to work. So here we go. We're going to watch this guy go. Here we go. Right here. Not pressed. That guy's running. Pressed. Pressed. Stop. There we go. So that one stops. That one goes. Not pressed. The left stops and the right goes. Boo. Yeah. Oh, they're attacking each other again. Oh, the calamity. All right. So there are the basics of your if statements. Pretty much right there. So if something happens, then something else will happen. And you can add ifs underneath that. You can have it check multiple different things. You could throw a complete another, I'm going to throw it inside there, an if else right here, and it could totally be limity. So you could say if limity is pressed, then you could say an LED is on. And if it is not pressed, or else it's off. So check this out. One last thing, I'm just going to have a little fun. We're going to go down to LED. Where's looks at? There it is. Okay, so we go down to LED right here. If it's pressed, LED is on. And then if it's not pressed, LED is off. So check this thing out. So let's just watch. So you can do multiple different things in forever loops. And yes, there are more complex things like an if then else, and it goes just crazy from there. But just if you want to think about it, an if within an if. I always tell you guys Red Dawn, kind of like the old movie, even though that's part of the high school mascots. But basically think of a nuclear warhead thing. If one switch is turned, if there are two switches that have to be turned for the button to be active, if one switch is turned, it's not active. If the other switch is turned, it's not active. But if they're both turned, then it is actually active. And you could do that putting an actual if inside an if. Inside an if. You could totally even do that one more time. You could grab one of these and just be like, yes, if inside it, and yeah, and that just looks crazy. 100% agree. Okay, but we're just going to look at this last thing, and then we are out of here. All right, so here we go. So let's watch this guy work. Did I download it? I hope so. We'll find out. So, all right, so we have an LED. All right, oh, it's taking the guy out. There we go. Press that guy. Done. Oop, we did not download that yet. See, look at that. You get me talking, I forget to hit the download. And by the way, since we are using an LED, we need to go ahead and turn it off in the beginning. You always do that. So we're going to go ahead and set it to off. And we're going to do it actually, oops, sorry. We're going to do it before the wait. No, actually after the wait. That way when it turns off, we know the program is running. So we're going to go ahead and turn it to off. So here we go. Turned it off. Good. We will actually download it this time. And now we will watch it run. So here we go. Boom. So LED is on. Now it is off. There we go. They're attacking each other again. Stop attacking each other. Right motor, you're not being very nice. So here we go. Push that left motor. Push that left motor. There we go. Boom. That's the limit switch right there. Boom. Limit. Boom. Limit. Boom. Limit. Press that guy. Boom. There we go. All these different things going on at the same time. It is absolute chaos. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a lot of fun. Right motor, you stay away from the other guy. See you guys in a